Welcome back to my channel. For those of you who do not know, I am Allie, and today's video is going to be a coffee chat. It's been a hot minute since I've posted a YouTube video, but I really felt like I needed to, especially since the way I left YouTube this time. I really felt the need to talk about some things and give a 9-month update and talk about if I'm coming back to YouTube. And that's what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna drink my Tim Hortons coffee. You guys are more than welcome to get a drink, and I'm gonna do my best to make this under 25 minutes. But you know, life happens. So I'm gonna start with back in October. So back in October, there was a death in my family. That's been really hard on all of us. And I'm gonna talk about how it has affected me. I'm not going to give too much details because my family has asked me not to. Out of respect for my family, I'm not going to. That is also why I'm sitting in a different angle than what I would normally sit in this living room, because my mom has asked that all family pictures stay private, and I'm doing my best to honor and respect what she wants. So from October to December, I was pretty much a robot. I went to work. I did the things. I went to work, I came home, I took care of my son. I was a complete and utter robot. I didn't deal with my feelings. Not until his funeral where I cried. Did I really deal with my feelings afterwards about any of it? No. I just went into complete robot mode. And then in January and September, I ended up going on a dating site and meeting somebody. That didn't work out. It is what it is. That one was just me. I really feel that was me just kind of looking for someone and just kind of settled for the first person that came along because I was a single mom and I didn't think I had a chance in the world with anybody. But he doesn't do relationships. That one did not do relationships. So fast forward to April, and I met the person that I truly believe I'm meant to be with. I'm gonna not give too much details out of respect for him. I'm just gonna kind of talk about me. And so from pretty much January to April, I was still very much a robot. I wasn't feeling anything. It wasn't until him that I started feeling, for the first time, everything. And April was also my cousin's birthday, who had passed away. So April was the month of kind of me unraveling emotionally, is how I'm going to word it. Not unraveling in a bad way in regards to him, because I really truly love him. I love and I care about him so much, and I would do anything to go back to the beginning and start over, and I'm really still hoping that in some way and somehow we can magically just make this work. But we're not going to talk about that. So then from April, May, and June have been the emotional unraveling of me, which is what made me stop doing YouTube videos, because I wasn't feeling what I was putting out. I'm not happy in my career. It was just everything. Everything was just me avoiding feelings before May, before the end of April, beginning of May. It was all me avoiding feelings at all costs and doing whatever I could to, and usually with me avoiding feelings leads me to two things that I usually gravitate towards to cope and deal with these things: self-harm and my eating disorder. So yes, I'm going to be frank here. There were days where self-harm and hurting myself seemed like the answer. I don't think people understand the amount of what grief does to you mentally. Grief is the hardest, this intense grief that I felt for the last 9 months is the hardest thing I've ever had to deal with in my life. it is like the most I have ever felt mentally unstable in my life. I've never felt so out of control in my life. Now, mind you, as I'm grieving, so is my family. And there were a lot of things that came up familial-wise that I've talked about with people, that they don't understand that they're also grieving. They're also having a hard time. Grief makes you do things that you never thought you would do in a million years. And it wasn't until recently that I retouched with the therapist that I had prior to this, when I was getting diagnosed with things. Turns out I was misdiagnosed. There is no mental health issues. There is no mental health issues. There's no self-harm. There's no depression. There's no anxiety. There's none of that. So that is really, really good. And I don't need to be on meds, which is amazing. But there was a self-harm and an eating disorder issue, and they both go hand in hand. So my self-harm habits come from environment and not wanting to feel certain things. So death, any of my dad's deployments, etc. My eating disorder comes into when I feel like I can't control anything. I can control what goes in my body. And it took me a long time to get healthy, and I am finally in a position where I'm healthy. So although these last 9 months have been hard, and I do believe that I've met the love of my life, and there's going to be trials and tribulations, and this one wasn't anything we saw coming out of left field, came out of left field. Again, I'm not going to get into too much details out of respect for him, because I do really love and care about him. So that's kind of that update. So moving on to the YouTube and my career conversation. So in regards to my... So before we get into that, I want to say to anyone that's grieving and feeling intense grief, there is no guidebook on how to do this. There is no guidebook. There is no guidebook. There's no snapping your fingers and you're going to get over it. It took me 9 months to get to the acceptance stage. And there are still moments where I'm like, why? Why? Like, why is this happening? Why do certain things make me think of him? Why do certain things make me cry and then certain things make me happy? I try to remember all of the good memories and all of the strong memories that we have, especially since as cousins we were super close. That is my way of trying to stay intact emotionally. And also recently, believe it or not, I have a good friend who does tarot readings, and she recently did one for me for free. Love her dearly. I've paid for one, and I've gotten one for free. I'll link her down below, but she's like my favorite human on earth to talk to. She is just so, like, she's got like this calming air about her. She's just one of my favorite human beings on earth. Like, if I had to pick somebody that, like, in a hard time I would go to, it would be her. And she really did an intuitive one for me, which I've never had done. And honestly, it was the reading I needed. I wasn't expecting her to get a message from my cousin the way that I had with her. In that time frame, I was being told that because I was with somebody and I was being happy, that it was wrong to be happy because he wasn't here. See, moments. And that is kind of where the emotional unraveling went in a negative way with him, is because I started feeling guilty. And kind of my behavior with other people in his life was because I was feeling guilty for being happy. And it manifested itself in a weird way. I didn't know how to be happy and okay and all the things when he wasn't here. Like, he doesn't get his happily ever after, so why should I get my happily ever after? He doesn't get to watch his kids grow up, so why do I get to watch my kid grow up? He doesn't get to, be at birthday parties, family events, Christmas, Thanksgivings. He doesn't get any of that, but I do. Why am I allowed to be surrounded by family and he's not? And it's been really, really hard. And then, I signed up for school not too long after, and, my cousin was signed up for school, right before his death, and I'm like, why do I get to finish my dreams and he doesn't? And there's been a lot of guilt with me. And why do I get to be so happy? And why do I get to live the life I want and he's not here to live the life he wants? And I've been really struggling with that dynamic. And that is part of the reason why I sabotaged the relationships around me. And I'm not going to get into my parents' relationship because they've asked me not to, and I'm respecting their privacy. And I'm trying to talk about but that's how my friendships all fell apart this month. Every human relationship that I had pretty much fell apart. And it was because I was feeling guilty for being so happy and living my life when he's not here to live his life and to be happy. So when I reached out to her for a reading and I was going to pay her, she said, no, don't worry. And she really, really, truly, gave me the message that I needed to hear. And it was, it's okay to be happy. I want you to be happy. Even if it's not okay with everyone else, that you're happy. And man, I needed that so much. And I don't think she even knew that I needed that, sentence clear as day to me. And then she went further because I've been beating myself up over the last 9 months. And I'm not going to get into too much detail out of respect for my family, out of the events that transpired, and how and the what and the why of how he died. Again, I'm respecting my family and I'm not going to get into too much detail. Things happen. And I feel with every death, whether they're sick or et cetera, or it's an accident, et cetera, I feel we always have the same conversation. Why? Why did this happen? How did this happen? The whole thing. So let me just grab a tissue, guys. Okay, guys, so I got a tissue and I'm back. So I'm just going to sit here again and we're going to finish this out here. So another thing that came through with this reading was there was nothing anybody could have done. That this person is at peace. And it hit me like a ton of bricks. Because another part of the message was that they felt like they couldn't be them true selves. And that was really truly, and that they felt that I felt the same way, that I couldn't. And it hit me like a ton of bricks because I realized something even prior to the whole being happy thing. When it's come to relationships with certain friends and certain family members, I have always felt like I have not been allowed to be me. I've always felt that the love that they had for me was conditional. I had never really felt unconditional love. I don't really know what unconditional love is until my child came into the equation. And it's crazy to me how anyone can give conditional love. That reading was what I needed. That reading was what I needed. More than anything in the world, I needed that. I don't know why I needed to hear it so bad. Maybe because I had been feeling so guilty and so angry and mad at myself for being happy, that to the point where I sabotaged with people that I actually care about, in my relationship because I was in so much grief and so much anger at myself, at people, feeling guilty for being happy. I was stuck in this fate. I don't even know how to describe it. I was stuck in this like cloud of like, I don't even want to call it darkness, but like misery. I was miserable and mad at the world and angry at everybody and feeling guilty and sabotaging things with people that I care about more than anything in the world. And I just couldn't understand why I was doing it. And then that's when the reading came through, when I needed it. And I realized that although I had done the things that I had done, and I had said some things that I said, and I have sabotaged some things that I am trying to make right with people, it was okay to be happy. It was okay to move forward. Moving forward didn't mean that a piece of my family wasn't missing. It didn't mean that it had to be okay all the time. It didn't mean that I wasn't allowed to feel grief. It just meant that I needed to manage my grief and move forward. So that's what I did. We had no school the 18th. Most people didn't have school the 18th. I sat down and I felt everything I needed to feel. Good, bad, ugly. I felt it. For the first time in 9 months, I had felt every emotion that I needed to feel. And then that's when I felt mentally stable again. There was no magical cure. It was feeling everything that I needed to feel in the last 9 months. Good, bad, and ugly. And it's crazy that all it took was a reading. I didn't believe in the tarot cards. I didn't believe in the mediums. I've always thought that they were just a scam to get money, and that it wasn't like something like actually helpful. But that reading really proved to me the opposite. I realized that it was okay for me to feel. And that reading just really, really helped me so much with my mental clarity. It was like a light went off. And for the first time in 29 years, I really, truly felt like myself. My actual happy, positive self. And it's crazy that that's what it took. So that is where we are with that. And I want to pause here and say to anyone watching this that I may have made uncomfortable, made them feel insignificant, interrupted them in any way, hurt them in any way, saw me as unstable. I apologize for my actions. I take accountability for my actions. I'm not excusing it by saying that I was in a massive state of grief, but I was really, truly in a massive state of grief. And if these people ever want to reach out to me and know what I was grieving about, gladly will tell you. I will gladly have a conversation with you, but I cannot state on this YouTube video, out of respect for my family, as to what happened in regards to my cousin's death. So that is where I'm at with that. Moving on to my career / YouTube. So if you've watched my old videos, you know that I was a teacher's aide. I am a teacher's aide, and I'm still probably going to be a teacher's aide for the next year. But I have found that I want to be in the education system, but not in the route that I was going. So with that being said, I am looking more at the higher education route. I want to work in student services, academic advisor, along those routes. I feel like that's where I belong more so than in the classroom with the kids. So that is something that I'm working towards once I have my bachelor's, which I'll be able to finish in a year, and I'm super, super excited. For the fall term, I upped it from 2 classes to 3 to try and be done sooner rather than later, and I'm going to cram something in the winter session for school. I am probably the happiest I've ever been in regards to my career. So YouTube. YouTube is something that I enjoy doing. I really, really do, even though I felt like a robot for those 9 months. But you're going to be seeing a little bit more of a different videos up here. There's not going to be any teaching content. There's going to be a minimalist content, more minimalist content, and there's going to be a lot of budgeting videos, and there's going to be a lot of cruelty-free beauty, because that really is where my heart is. If that's not something you're interested, unsubscribe now. I'm not going to apologize for that. So that is everything. I wanted to do this quick life update video. I hope you guys enjoyed this. And I will see you all next time.